Hello, welcome to our weekly Hair Revival Coffee Break. We have a very special guest today, Tina Coles, longtime friend of mine and in the industry and the longest tenure stylist at Hair Revival Studio. Tina, you want to say hi?
Hey, hi.
And we have Michael back. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hop off here, and Michael's going to take over and start our little interview with Tina. So y'all enjoy.
Sweet. What's up,
All
everyone?
right.
Welcome back. As always, if you haven't, like, and subscribe our YouTube channel. We do this weekly. So Tina's our first official guest that we've had on, which I've been really looking forward to it. As Blake said, Tina's been at Hair Revival longer than anybody. And I've just seen Tina, she's got like the best clients. She's so consistent. She's an amazing human being, amazing conversations. Always, I had a conversation with Tina in like where our color hallway is last week. And I was like, hey, how's it going? She's like, having a great day. And I'm like, you're always having a great day. Every time I see Tina, she's always in a good mood. She's always bringing a positive vibe everywhere she goes. So I've been super stoked to have this chat with you, Tina. I'm glad you're here.
Yay. Me
Yeah.
too. This is fun. I'm so
So
excited.
yeah, I love it. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us how long have you been in the industry total? And yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so a little bit about myself. I'm a 36-year-old woman. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years now. And
Wow.
so you can tell it's been my whole life. It's been my whole career. And I think about it a lot, and I think like, what would I do if I didn't do hair? And I can really not come up with anything. I've always been led in the direction of hair, and it's just kind of always gone that way for me. So I'm glad that it just, it keeps calling me, and it keeps being fruitful for me and my clients. So, I feel really grateful for that.
I love that. What's some of the highlights that you love the most about doing hair?
Okay, the thing that I love the most about doing hair for me is honestly, it's the way that I feel like I make people feel. Not
Nice.
just with their hair, just I really try to like make people leave my chair feeling better than when they came.
I love that. Yeah, I
I think
think we
that's
have this
important.
interesting ability to change someone's outward appearance and outward beauty, if you would, by their hair, and it does something internally. I often find that people leave my chair or our salon feeling like they're just like, oh my gosh, I've been having like a terrible time, and I just feel so much better, and I feel so confident, and I've seen people
Yes.
leave the chair and go out and get a new promotion, get a new job, get engaged, get
Yes.
married, all these things. So
Yes.
that's one of my favorite things is being able to really
Yeah.
use the external beauty to show people how beautiful they are inside and out.
Yeah. The best
That's
thing is
beautiful.
getting that text message after the appointment, like a day later, hours later from your client, and they say, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Same thing you said, people will tell you, I got a promotion because I
Yeah.
was feeling confident. I landed a date. People will tell, like clients will leave and they're like, I got a date because I was just, shining and feeling so great and, that kind of thing. So, just like sending people out into the world, like feeling good, feeling bright, feeling light, that is why I do what I do.
I love that. We really do have the best job. It's really amazing. So
Yeah.
what made you like interested in the industry? Like what kind of took you to that place? Like what led you down that path?
For what led me down the path was like in school I never was really great academically. I always
Same.
struggled.
Same.
I never got a hold of it. And I felt, like that's really hard for you. You feel like a failure when you're not doing what you think like you're supposed to be doing. You're not performing in the way that you are. But from a young age, people always told me that even when I would just play with hair, they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so good at this. You're going to do hair one day. And so when it came time to like start thinking about a career, I was like, like I've always been good at hair. I haven't really been good at anything else. So I started doing school when I was in high school. So that's why I've been able to do hair
Wow.
for so long. So, I would 2 periods a day in high school, I would go to a different school, do hair school. And then, I just started my career whenever I was 18. So like I said, it's just always at each turn that I've been at in my career, it's always just kept me going towards hair. I started at I started at like one of those, I call it a Betty's bump and curl salon. That's like where I started doing hair, just to kind of like get my feet on the ground and get running. And I just always kind of like made these moves, I think, and I don't think I even knew what I was doing, but I just always made moves to like advance myself in my career. From that place, I went to another place where I was self-employed. And then from there, I went to another salon where they did hardcore training. And, we did classes every week. We were training in the salon constantly. And eventually in that salon, I became an educator in the salon. So that was a really good point in my career where I was able to teach people how to do hair as well. I think when you're teaching people to do hair, it's really teaching you. You teach in our salon. Don't you feel the same way?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think like that's also one of the beautiful things about what we do is like we can give back so much to young stylists. And hair school is so formal, like you just learn a bunch of formalities and you learn a little bit about hair, but not current trends and things like that. So it's really cool to be able to kind of take a young stylist under your wing and sort of champion them into the right direction, teach them some education, things like that. So yeah, it's a gift. And I find myself learning from this next generation of hairstylists as well as I'm teaching them skills. I'm learning from the kids, like mindsets and worldviews and perspectives and all these things and culture. And so my associate came up to me this week and she was like, hey, like beach waves are probably on their way out. Everyone on TikTok's doing like blowout styles with
Blowout.
So anyways, it's such a cool thing. So you've been in the industry for 20 years in high school, in school and high school, out of high school, doing hair. Statistically, I don't know percentage wise, but there's a large number of people that don't make it through the first year in the industry. And I can imagine those percentages going even higher as like a high school student coming out of high school, sticking in the industry for a year, much less 20 years. What do you think? Like, is there a couple things that like has helped you sort of be successful and keep like driving forward and having such a successful? I see you busy all day long. Your clients come and go. They're always so happy. They're consistent. They and I've seen this for 7 years with you since I've known you, and it's always been this consistency. What do you like attribute that success to? What maybe there's some challenges that you've had to overcome, or what's kept you like inspired and feeling like you're still loving this job even after 20 years?
Oh my gosh. Okay. When I think about that, I can really think of 3 things that keep me going in the industry and kind of keep me thriving. One being my daughter. She keeps me going all the time, no matter what. She is my driving force in life. I don't know what I would have ever done without my daughter. And, just the basic need to provide for her as well. That's like one of the basics important. Another one is what's important to me for working in the salon. A lot of stylists like branch off and go into suites. For me, working in the salon, and one of the things that keeps me going is watching my coworkers, trends changing and learning from the stylists. And oh my gosh, we work with some of the best stylists in Dallas, in the country, and I really thrive on watching my fellow stylists do their job. Oh my gosh, it's so inspiring and so awesome. Don't you think, like walking through the salon, everyone's doing something different. Yeah. Everyone's doing something really cool. So that's another one too.
Yeah, no, I was absolutely like, that's super inspiring to see people. And I always admire you about how you're always kind of getting in the mix of things and being like, hey, like you've been in the industry for 20 years and you're so good at what you do and you know how to do so many things, but you still come to someone like me or someone like, Maria or Blake or anyone, and you're like, hey, how did you achieve this look? What do you think about this tone? What do you think about this tone? And there's this humble like spirit that you have about you that's, I think, probably that's attributed to a lot of your success and your growth.
Oh, thank you for that. I mean, gosh, I just want to always be learning and growing, and I don't know everything, not even close. And if you walk up to a stylist, if you walk up to every stylist in the salon and ask them how they would do this person's hair, show them a picture, show them a result, every single person's going to tell you something different. Every single person.
Right.
So you can learn from
Absolutely.
everybody, from every single head. The third thing that I would say that, is keeping me going in the industry and keeping me going for 20 years is obviously my clients. You said yourself, I have the best clients and I love
Yeah.
my clients. I get up every day and I'm excited to go to work. I'm excited to talk to my
I
clients and,
love that.
like just talk about their lives and catch up. And one of the other things is I learn, we learn from the stylist, the young stylists, each other. I learned from my daughter, but I've learned so much from my clients and I value that so much. Like
I
just
love
just
that.
everything, just learning about I mean, my clients help me out, just learning about life things, everything,
Everything. Everything. Finances, like
everything,
I've been talking to my
finances.
clients about NFTs, I've been talking about
Yes.
investing, like you learn
I mean,
health and like fitness and all these cool different things. And
yeah.
it's a really, yeah, that's really inspiring and that's beautiful. So there's a lot in the industry. Like I've experienced like burnout. I've experienced so many challenges and as like a lot of creatives, we're we're feelers, we're in our heads and we're
Yeah.
in our hearts and we can get so wrapped up and like we're not good enough or this or that. There's so many challenges that we have to overcome, especially pertaining to burnout. um
Yeah. Yeah.
so what's like a challenge? Have you ever experienced burnout, or have you ever experienced like certain challenges in the industry that you've had to overcome? And if you have, what's something that you've like overcame, and how did you do that?
I don't think like anything too crazy. I think sometimes burnout is real because trends change in the industry. And I think for me, I don't know if it's like this for you, but whenever I'm trying to really learn a new trend, you're new at it. And
Yeah.
so, and I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because,
Yeah.
we want to be the best. We want to be the best in the
Yep.
industry. And I mean, part of being the best, I think that we need to remember when we're experiencing growth is at least when we're experiencing burnout, is at least we're trying to grow, you
Yeah.
know? So for
Yeah.
me, like anytime that I've started to feel frustration and burnout, like is just when I'm trying to push myself to a new level. I
Yeah.
start to get frustrated with myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm just not good at doing hair anymore because I'm not figuring this out fast enough, or,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So for me, I think when it comes to that, I mean, that's what it's been for me. I haven't had any
Yeah.
huge burnout. I've tried to, that's it. That's it for me. Do you have
Yeah.
anything to add to
Yeah.
that?
Well, no, I think that's really good. I think like the kind of it's like, I mean, we could talk for an hour on that alone about like comparison and about the pressure we put on ourselves and about, insecurities and all these things. But I do think that like a lot of it is in our head. And if we can have that perspective of like we're starting something new and we're growing from that, I think that's a really beautiful thing. I also think like as far as like you mentioned being the best, I want to be the best too. But what I'm understanding is me being the best. It doesn't mean that I'm the only best. It means that there's room at the top for everyone to be the
Yeah.
best at what they're doing. So you can be the best, I can be the best, Blake can be the best. And with that perspective shift, it really helps me not compare myself to others, but actually celebrate others when they're on the top as well.
I like that. I really love that that's the tone of maybe our generation at this moment, or the way things are going at this moment. I think that we're all learning that there's room for everyone to succeed and for everyone to shine. And we don't have to put others down. It makes me feel really bad to do that. So that's not what I'm here to do. I love lifting people up, and
I
I
love
want I
that.
want people to succeed and grow. Everyone.
I think that's beautiful. So I've got two more questions. We've got about 2 minutes left, maybe 1 minute left, and we've got to wrap this up. I feel like we could go on for hours, but this is a lot of fun.
I would love to.
You mentioned early on doing hair at a salon right when you were coming out of school. What kind of hair were you doing at that point? Like
Oh,
what styles were you doing?
oh,
Yeah,
oh
I want to
man.
hear some of
I
that.
can remember it like it's yesterday,
Same.
honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the setting for you. It's 2003, And everyone has blonde chunky highlights and then followed up by a bright red chunky highlight.
Okay.
And then what we would do is we would flat iron it so straight. Everyone had it. Like everyone had that look. The Kelly Clarkson American Idol look. That was it.
Yeah. That was like the big, like kind of emo days, like 2003, 2005.
Yeah.
Were you doing like, for me in the early days, I was doing like perm sets, roller sets, like things like that, like curling styles. Were you doing a lot of that stuff as well?
No, I'm doing that again now. No, I'm just kidding. No, like I did that in school. I had to learn all that stuff in school. And as soon as I left school, I was like, no perms, not doing perms. But what was interesting was coming straight out of school and then going to that Betty's Bump and Curl Salon that I'll call it. They were doing all cap highlights still. They were pulling hair through a cap and highlighting that way.
Yeah.
And I was the only one doing foiling. So we kind of like learned from each other, teaching each other. Like I was like, okay, tell me about some cap highlights. And they would, they were like, tell me about foil highlights. So yeah, those are the trends. That. And people keep saying chunky highlights are coming back. And I'm like,
no, not for me. All right, so we got to wrap this up. Tell me, why don't you tell our audience or young hairstylists or stylists that have been in the industry for 20 years, is there a piece of advice that you have for them to maintain their like mental health or build a clientele or whatever? Is there any like pointers that you have for us?
Okay. One pointer that I have for young stylists or people starting out is just be yourself and the rest will follow. You don't try to be a different kind of stylist. Don't try to bring in your ego and be something else. You'll attract your clients, like your kind of clients. And
I love that.
That's my best piece of advice.
I think that's beautiful. Yeah. Don't pursue the money. Don't pursue the fame. Don't pursue the success. Just be who you are, and the things that are supposed to come will come.
Oh, I got one more thing that it came back to me what I was going to say. And be consistent. Being consistent with your clients, showing up, being on time, being there, being consistent with the schedule, that kind of thing. You can't flake out. You can't not show up. That's really important. And I think I've attributed a lot of my success to being consistent. So that's it for me.
So consistent. Well, Tina, thank you so much for coming on. This is awesome. I can't wait to see you later.
Yay, I loved it.
And I hope to have you on again sometime soon. So thanks everybody for tuning in.
Bye.
We're gonna put this up on our YouTube so you can watch the archive, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.